Hey guys, this is Stel Yafty with Close.io. Today I want to talk about the dangers of social in B2B sales. So social has been, a trend for a long time. Obviously, I'm not telling you anything new if I mentioned that there's a thing called Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever. We all know about it. We all use it. Most of us in our daily lives in one way or another. And more businesses are using social to, advertise, build awareness, connect with their customers and users, build buzz, do lead gen, all these things. Right? The aspect of social that I want to talk about that I find dangerous and a lot of times counterproductive is when salespeople, specifically in the B2B context of sales, are using social as an excuse to actually doing their job of selling and communicating with people. And here's what I mean. A lot of times, salespeople will tell me, well, before I pick up the phone to call a customer, or before I pick up the phone and call a lead or an opportunity to actually talk to them, I like to do my homework and research them, the company, as well as the individual that I'm trying to sell on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on read their personal blog, watch their pictures on Flickr, like just spend like a lot of time to actually really create an understanding of who that person is and what their likes and dislikes are and what the things are they're sharing before I actually pick up the phone to call them. And sometimes the same salespeople will spend 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes even 2 or 3 hours reading all kinds of blog posts, getting lost in the social web in an attempt to really create kind of a perfect understanding of the other party before they actually engage in a sales conversation with them. And here's why I think, there's two main reasons why I think that's a really dangerous, stupid, and harmful practice in sales. Number one, let's ask ourselves what the root cause of the desire to research people socially for hours is. A lot of times it's insecurity and nothing else. Right? It's insecurity. You want to feel safe. You want to feel that you've done your homework and you really understand the other party so that there's as little danger as possible that they might say something you dislike or they might reject you or your sales pitch is not going to be successful, right? So that need to have done all your homework is also partially a need to feel secure, which means that in lack of that homework, you feel a certain level of insecurity. And the second part to that insecurity is also the that it just is a safer thing. It feels kind of good and it's a safe, homey environment to sit in front of your computer and do research for 1 or 2 or 3 hours before you actually pick up a phone and call somebody or send somebody an email. That kind of feels, it's a much safer environment than the actual interaction of hitting the send button in the email or picking up the phone and saying hello and starting a conversation with somebody. Because when you do all that research, nobody's rejecting you. Nobody can tell you they don't like what you do or they don't want to talk to you, right? It's kind of a safe, comfortable environment, a rejection-free zone. Social researching is a rejection-free zone for you as a salesperson, which is why you should spend as little time as possible in it, because any rejection-free zone is also a sales-free zone. It's something where sales is not really happening. You're not really closing deals. You're not really actually engaging and interacting with people. The second danger of doing a lot of social research before you go out to sell is overconfidence, right? A lot of people take that hour that they've researched and read all your tweets and all your Facebook updates and your latest 5 blog posts, and they come up with their own ideas and extrapolations of who you really are and what makes you tick and what you like and dislike. They come into the conversation with both a pre-painted picture that may or may not be true, and also kind of a lot of times the need of bragging about everything they know about you. Well, I saw that on Twitter that you said, you really support this and really dislike that. When I read your blog post, I totally agreed with your opinion. Like, we'll try to actually brag or display to the other party all the knowledge that we have and all the insights we have by telling them about them. Which, number one, is fucking boring because they already know that shit. They wrote it. It's their life. And number two, at worst, is dangerous because you might have interpreted something wrong or you might have read something that you didn't have full context about. So just by reading a tweet, you don't really fully understand the person behind the tweet and what their intention and emotions and feelings and thoughts and philosophies are. It takes a little more than just a tweet. It takes a little bit more than just a few links and a few blog posts to really fully understand somebody. And the danger is that people that spend a lot of time researching that stuff will think they really arrived at understanding already, coming into the conversation with preconceived ideas and notions of who you are and how to sell to you what you care about. And that's dangerous in sales. Here's how you do it right. So I'm not devaluing Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and Quora and blogs and all that stuff as like really useful tools to get signals and tidbits of a little bit of context and content around the prospect that you're talking to. All that is fucking awesome and really useful. But you shouldn't spend more than 5 to 10 minutes on that stuff, right? If you want to send an email or if you want to call somebody, excuse me, spend maximum of 10 minutes actually quickly checking out the latest stream of tweets, maybe look at up their LinkedIn and kind of where they've worked. Maybe if they have a blog, just screen a few of their blog posts, and if something stands out, yeah, quickly glance over it and scan through it. But that's enough. Yeah, that gives you a little bit of like stuff to talk about, a little bit of additional context. So when you are conversing with them, when you're talking and interacting with them, you have these little tidbits that might enrich the picture that they're painting to you through the interactions. So spend some time to do social research, but not more than 10 minutes. And then when you actually talk to them, focus on the conversation. Focus on learning more about them by using the conversation, the talk, the call, by using language and asking questions and listening really carefully to what somebody says, and not just the content of what they say, but also the context in which they say it in and the way that they deliver that content. So you fully get more and more grasp of who this person is, and don't just ask surface level questions, but go really deep and ask why they find this very important and how they came to that conclusion and what they're doing about it, what else they've tried before, and what's really crucial right now, what's a deal breaker and what's nice to have, and really dig deep to really fully understand the other side and use the conversation, the sales call to do that versus your research. And then if you've done a little bit of research, that's gonna make the call better. That's gonna give you a little bit of more background, a little bit more useful context around the content that is being shared in the conversation. So social is great, but if you overdo it, it's overkill. It's gonna just be hiding your insecurities as a salesperson, and it's gonna turn you into an overconfident, overly assuming salesperson that comes into a conversation with too many preconceived notions and ideas about who he or she is talking to. And that will ultimately lead to you talking too much, not listening carefully enough, and making a very ineffective pitch. So social is good, but be careful with it.